And welcome back. Former Road Accident Fund CEO Collins Letsoalo has once again ignited controversy after failing to appear before Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts, despite being served with a lawful summons. His refusal comes at a time when SCOPA is probing serious allegations linked to his leadership at the Road Accident Fund, including financial mismanagement, irregular appointments, the cancellation of the attorneys panel, and ongoing conflicts with the Auditor-General. Letsoalo has openly dismissed the inquiry, labeling it a kangaroo court, while political parties and committee members argue that his refusal to comply represents an attack on Parliament's authority and the oversight processes itself. To discuss this, we're joined by Andrea van Heerden from OUTA. Andrea, this is extraordinary for a former CEO of a statutory body to say to Parliament, I just don't care about your processes, I will not appear before it. What recourse does Parliament have in this instance?
Well, thank you so much, Oliver, for having us. I think if we just take a step back and see it for what it is, I think it's absolutely ludicrous that one individual thinks he's above the law or above accountability. And it's great to see that Parliament is finally exercising their powers. So in this circumstances, what can happen is if he then doesn't appear, it would then be considered a contempt of Parliament. And therefore, Parliament or SCOPA can then petition or refer him for criminal prosecution. Because in terms of Section 27 of, let me just get the wording of this act correct, but in terms of the powers, privileges, and immunities of Parliament and Provincial Legislators Act, in terms of Section 27, it is a criminal offence if they issue a summons for appearance and someone does not appear.
Yeah. Importantly here is that if he then does get convicted on contempt charges, we still don't quite have the answers to the questions around the financial mismanagement and the governance failures at the Road Accident Fund. And that's an important part of the work of SCOPA, to be able to determine that. Is it possible for SCOPA to be able to do that sort of work without necessarily having to speak to Collins Letsoalo and having to cross-examine him?
Well, at the end of the day, unfortunately, or fortunately and unfortunately, when it comes to an accused person, they also do have rights to state their case. But in these circumstances, when someone like Collins Letsoalo just ignores the process completely, the rightful question is, what is SCOPA then standing to do? But I think, honestly, with regards to all the information they already have in front of them through this inquiry and through speaking to individuals and whistleblowers, I think they have already a good basis to refer him for criminal prosecution without him setting his side of the story. But again, I mean, once they refer it for criminal prosecution, then the police needs to investigate. So then they can acquire documentation, you can get his witness statements. So it's not necessarily the end of the road if Collins Letsoalo does not appear before SCOPA. It might make the process a little bit more difficult, but I don't think it's going to hamper or it's going to put a stop to what SCOPA is trying to do. It's just, when we're talking about OUTA's litigation and what we're doing, we have a lot of matters that we litigate against the state. And we see this more often than not, that they play within the confines of the law, but they do detract the processes or they stall the processes. And this is the only thing that is happening now. Collins is doing exactly the same thing. He is playing the long game because he doesn't want to account for his role in what is happening at RAF.
Give us a sense, just how bad is the malfeasance, or was the malfeasance at the Road Accident Fund under Collins Letsoalo, from what the committee has been able to establish thus far into the inquiry?
I think you touched on it earlier. I mean, there's a lot of issues there, but I think one of the prominent issues that that SCOPA has seen is with the AG battle with RAF, and specifically Collins Letsoalo changing the accounting structure of RAF. So, I mean, that's just one issue that is horrific. The second thing is, I mean, he had a security tender for himself. I mean, it was escalated. I think it was 500,000 rand, and then it escalated to almost 2-3 million rand just for him to have protection. Now, whether or not that is warranted or not, we don't know. But the sad reality is, Oliver, and that is actually the crux of everything, is the Road Accident Fund serves such a vital role in South Africa and for many victims of road issues or crashes or whatever. So
Yeah.
supposed to be an institution that helps these victims. But what we are seeing with the RAF now, it's rife with corruption, maladministration, and at the end of the day, it's my money and your money as taxpayers, because remember, they get their funding from the fuel levy. So it's a ring-fenced amount from the fuel levy that gets paid to the RAF to help them to do whatever they need to do. But that money is being wasted on corruption, on security tenders, the wrong accounting structure. I mean, Collins Letsoalo fired the panel of attorneys. So it's horrific with what is happening there. But from OUTA's perspective, I think it's encouraging to see that SCOPA and Parliament are actually trying to resolve these issues, and they are exercising their powers. We haven't seen this in a long time. So it is encouraging that Parliament is actually doing something about this.
Andrea, Collins Letsoalo makes the argument that SCOPA is in fact not the right committee within Parliament to be doing oversight, and that it is the Transport Portfolio Committee that is meant to do that. And that's part of his refusal on appearing before the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. What's your view on that deflection?
I think it's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, it's Parliament. So whether or not it's in front of the Portfolio Committee on Transport or SCOPA, it's still a parliamentary function to investigate. So if Collins Letsoalo is of the opinion that SCOPA is not the correct body, and he sees it as a kangaroo court and it should actually be the or the Portfolio Committee on Transport, that's kind of a moot point. It's irrelevant, because it's Parliament, and Parliament is exercising oversight. So I mean, what would have happened if it was the Department or the Portfolio Committee of Transport now? They don't necessarily have the same powers as SCOPA. So, I mean, I think it's just a deflection, and it doesn't actually matter, because at the end of the day, we are one Parliament, and we need to get to the bottom of these things, and he needs to account for the decisions that he made.
Yeah. Andrea van Heerden, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Andrea van Heerden is from the organization Undoing Tax Abuse, OUTA, speaking to us there on Collins Letsoalo refusing to appear before the Standing Committee on Public Accounts.